Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League had images leak that we will not be able to show. They are copyright striking and claiming videos that include the images. We will be able to describe them and sort of discuss and debate why everyone was almost immediately upset about this. There was also a response from a developer about what this means for the game and what we can expect, but very little details still surrounding this title other than what we already know so far. 4-player co-op, you've got the 4 different characters, looks pretty good, from the company that made Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight, which were the 3, I think, best Batman games, some of the best superhero games you could play, so that bodes well for the title, and the trailers up to now have mainly focused on cinematics with a little bit of gameplay. Overall, I do want to push back on folks that were sort of like, no, we really don't want to see live service come to a game like this, because the images did show a battle pass was linked at the top, and there were what looked like currencies on the screen, and many people were concerned, oh, here we go, it's going to play like a mobile game, or it's going to play like one of these overly monetized games. That's always the concern when it comes to live service. Like, is it live service? Oh no, is it going to have a battle pass? Is it going to have all these things? Now, I think live service could work in a game like this. Now, we obviously have cautionary tales with superhero games attempting to do something with live service, like we did with Avengers. But mainly, I don't think live service is the enemy of games that everybody makes it out to be. We're on the precipice of a very big and hopefully successful, long-standing live service game in Diablo 4 with everything they learned in Diablo 3 and the seasonal format. There's also very long-standing games like Final Fantasy XIV that really turn things around. You have No Man's Sky essentially being live service now with their expeditions. You have Path of Exile. You have games like Destiny. There are plenty of games doing live service. I think many people have probably either played a live service game too long and they've gotten kind of jaded, or they've had 1 or 2 bad experiences and they think, well, that's what every single game is going to do. When you have games with really cool cosmetics, really great characters, and a really fun content loop, why not continue to build upon that? Why not continue to expand upon that? I actually think live service could work very well for a game like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, because you have great characters, you could have outfits, you could have new stories to go out and do. Think about how they do this with comic books, right? You could have new villains to go fight. Well, in this case, it wouldn't be villains, but new baddies to go fight, and new things to earn, new builds to try, and new experiences to have with your buds. And battle passes work really well for that. We've seen this sort of masterfully done in Fortnite and some of the other battle royales. It kind of gives you things to work on, things to grind for. And as long as the main springboard story and experience is good, it shouldn't really hurt the experience of people that aren't looking for that. If you're not looking for live service, I would hope that you could play through Diablo 4's campaign, make a couple of different characters, and go all the way through, and then never touch the live service elements, and be okay, and have a good time. Even when we've looked at Hogwarts Legacy, we have other content covering that, with the length of the story being very, very long, but that doesn't mean they couldn't add to it and have live events and reasons to come back to the game. I actually think that this game could do a very good job with that. Now, why are folks typically against live service? Well, typically, when they look at a game like this, they think it's going to cheapen the game. You're going to have microtransactions, you're going to have currency this and currency that, and you're going to make everything be really slow, and you're going to slow everything down and stretch everything out, and you're going to try and save content for seasons or save content for DLCs and expansions. The worry is typically that you're going to get a diluted version of the game where everything gets stretched out and feels very too thin, too tenuous, while the actual game, suffers underneath that structure instead of just being a good one-off game. More and more, I think the budgets for games are getting larger. I think the format of games are expanding. The scope of games, the demand for excellence in graphical fidelity and longevity. People want games to last for a while, or at least have very lengthy campaigns, and that drives the scope of the project out, which drives drives the budget up, and recouping that cost is pretty challenging. I continue to think that AC Valhalla is going to have an impact on the market because more and more games that build these huge, large open worlds, all these characters, all these move sets, and all these animations can continue to be utilized and reuse that capital and keep people in the game and keep generating money and funds. And as long as the consumer's happy, then I fully support it. I think that's mainly the concern, is that satisfaction will go down. So I think the more and more we see demands for co-op games like this, where you get to play together, that lines up really, really well for live service games, for ongoing games. So let's get to what was revealed. I have the VGC article here, and I've obviously got the image cropped out. I'm not going to be able to show it to you because I don't want my video getting struck down. But here's what the VGC had to say. VideoGamesChronicle.com. A leaked Suicide Squad image has confirmed plans for service game elements such as a battle pass, and this obviously got everybody very upset. The image, which originated on the 4chan forum, has been verified by a VGC source. It is understood to originate from a recent test build, and it shows various menus planned for the Rocksteady co-op game. Now, the fact that they are striking down videos tells me that this is in fact real. Like if you've seen the image, it's real. You don't copyright claim and take down videos if the image is fake, okay? The Battle Pass and multiple currencies shown in the image have inspired a debate on social media about how extensive the live service elements will be for the title. However, a development source told VGC that while a Battle Pass is planned for the game, it will be focused on cosmetic items such as skins. Now, some people hear that and they don't care. They're like, oh, really? Even cosmetics? They're like, I want that in the game. I want to find those things and earn those things in the game. Stop gamifying video games. I've been kind of saying that lately, like when a game feels so gamified that you don't get to actually just enjoy it and have things happening. There's a battle pass, there's a microtransaction store, there's cosmetics to buy. Listen, I get it. I 100% get it. You start to sense the game on top of the game, if that makes sense. You're too tuned into it. It's almost as if you're watching a movie and you sort of sense the plot armor or the plot elements, or maybe you see a boom mic in the shot. It sort of immersion breaks. You suddenly remember that you're watching a movie and it shatters the illusion. Well, I think that can happen with video games. If you gamify a game too much, we sense the game, and we don't like that. So I understand people's caution here, but I do think the fact that it's only a cosmetic battle pass for a game with, really cool looking characters, as you can see right here from one of the videos that they've released, I think it's a perfect game for that type of thing. Now, here's what they had to say. Like, listen, it's just cosmetics, and here's what they had to say. In addition, they also said this: the various currencies shown at the top of the leaked image are understood to be XP used to power up and customize the skill trees of each anti-hero, effectively making them unique to the player. So you're not looking at currencies to like buy stuff, or currencies that you have to earn or save up to buy anything. It's XP, so you can drill down on the different skill trees. What it looked like to me was even some of the currencies were so low in number, they would be more like skill points, but we haven't had anything confirmed yet other than what this developer has said, and they said this as well. You don't start off debuffed and weak, VGC was told. You start off great and can get ridiculous like Arkham Knight's Batman. This is extremely exciting. I thought Arkham Knight, that Batman game, was my favorite. I thought that game got a raw deal because they did a very, very bad job porting it to PC, and that's all anybody really talked about. I also think people really overstated the Batmobile. I thought it was excellent. There was one or two missions that were a little silly, like stealth missions in the Batmobile, but outside of that, I think it really expanded the sense of being Batman. It was awesome, and I really enjoyed that iteration of the Batmobile, sort of being like something you use for even solving some of the puzzles or navigating and opening things, but also being like a tank, like a weapon. Now, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, the next game from the creator of the Batman Arkham series, is billed as a genre-bending action-adventure shooter set in an open-world metropolis. I love this. I love that they're sort of genre bending. They're getting their, dipping their toes into something new. I'm really, really excited to see how this plays out. I think what we've seen so far looks very, very promising. And this stuff down here is one of the main reasons I get excited. Playable solo or with up to 4 players in online co-op. Its original story follows Suicide Squad members Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, and King Shark, who are on a mission to save Earth and kill the world's greatest DC superheroes, the Justice League. And after a series of delays, this is the most promising news, we get it to play it this year. It'll be available May 26th. That's my wedding anniversary. Perfect game to celebrate with my wife. I'm totally kidding. We actually like co-op games, but I'm totally kidding. For the PS5, the Xbox Series S, and the S, and the PC. So there you have it. I think the information we got from this is good enough to continually feel good about the game. I'm not trying to puff it up. I'm not trying to be hype man for this game, but I don't think there's cause for alarm, and I think a game like this will be good even if there are live service ongoing elements like a battle pass, as long as it's not over monetized, as long as it's not sort of squeezing the player to get you to spend money. I continue to tell people, stop calling everything pay to win. Stop calling everything a cash grab and scummy just because it has stuff in it that you're worried might be bad. Rather than call all live service games bad, which is silly in light of the fact that there's many that are good and handled well and have been very successful, and rather than call every monetization practice pay to win, call out the bad practices accurately so that if a game comes out and it has a micro store and it has live service elements, but it doesn't have any of the bad practices, well, then we should support that if we're enjoying the game, and we should let those games flourish and then call out the other bad practices so they tend to get squandered and don't show up as often. Really push back on RNG elements, loot boxes, gacha elements, things like that. Don't get so hung up on a battle pass or currencies until we see it in practice. But if it's bad and the practices aren't right, I'll be one of the first people to call it out. As always, if you enjoy these uploads and reaction style, opinion style content about the gaming world and gaming news, we also do a live talk show on here regularly. So thanks so much for watching this video. Hit subscribe and the bell button so that I can see you in the next one.